it's Dawn from Happy Home and Garden with John and Dawn, and today I'm wearing my happy hat and I'm having a happy day, and today I'm making some happy Indian Kheer pudding made with millet. So this can be served hot or cold. It's also good as a dessert or a side dish, or have it for breakfast, or it makes a nice healthy snack. I also bring it to potlucks. I like to bring this little sign and it says the ingredients in it, and I'll also put the instructions in the description below. This stuff is so good, I think I'm going to sneak some before dinner tonight. Oh, so good. It's millet time, brought to you by Millet Kheer. That's my little joke there, you get it? There are 8 things you need. The first thing is 2 cups organic hulled millet. Millet has more nutritional value than rice does, so that's why I prefer to use that. This is also considered an ancient grain. It's got this nice little yellow color to it. The next would be organic raisins. That would be a half a cup of raisins. I like to use Thompsons raisins because the golden raisins, I can never find them without a preservative in them, so I don't really like preservatives in my dried fruits, so that's why I prefer the organic Thompsons raisins without the preservative in them. Next would be raw almonds, and that would be 1 cup. If you can't have nuts, you can substitute something like hemp seeds or sunflower seeds or some other seed that you can eat. And I like to put this in the food processor and make it into these little bits. Next is cardamom seeds. This would be 1 tablespoon seeds, or if you only have powder, that would be 2 tablespoons of powder. Cardamom seeds are wonderful flavor, traditionally used in Indian dishes. These cardamom seeds are from the green seed pods, and they're already taken out of the pods. I buy them like this. The local Indian store didn't have organic, so I just bought the regular kind. Next is organic coconut milk. 1 full can of coconut milk, and it happens to be 13.5 ounces, but if your can is a little bit different than that, that's okay. You can use coconut cream, you can use coconut milk, either one. I definitely do not recommend buying the reduced fat coconut milk because all they do is add more water into it and basically sell you more water rather than coconut. And the same thing with coconut milk and coconut cream. Coconut milk has more water than coconut cream, so just be aware of that when you're buying it, because just because something says reduced fat doesn't mean that they're not adding more water, which is what they do with this. Next is honey. I buy this locally from the local honey guy. I use 3/4 cups of honey, but you can use less or more depending on your taste. I would suggest adding half a cup first and then trying it and then adding the other 1/4 cup to see if that's what you like. Also, instead of using honey, you could use cane sugar. I like this better because regular white sugar could be made from white sugar beets, which is 100% a GMO'd product, so I avoid that as much as possible. Next is vanilla extract. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I like to buy the organic stuff from the store. And last but not least is an entire ½ gallon of almond milk. If you do have a nut sensitivity, you can use hemp seed milk or flax milk, or if you can handle regular milk, then you can use regular milk as well. Just be aware that cooking times may differ depending on what type of liquid that you use. Also, if the almond milk you buy already has vanilla in it, then you don't need the vanilla extract, or if you want to add the extract too, you can, but that's up to you. So I usually buy the unsweetened almond milk, so if you usually buy the sweetened version, then just cut back on the honey however much you need. I'm using a 4-quart pan. Here's my 2 cups of millet, ½ cup raisins, 1 cup almonds, 1 tablespoon cardamom seeds, 1 full can of coconut milk. I like to measure out 4 cups of the almond milk and pour some into the coconut milk can and swish it around so I can get the little bits off the sides of the can. Come on, get down. Remember to recycle whenever possible. Pour in the other part of the 4 cups. I only like to use half the amount of almond milk to start. I'm going to start cooking this now, but I am going to be putting in the vanilla extract and the honey later on. Turn the stove on to high, add your pan, and wait for it to come to a boil. I like to stir it 2 or 3 times before it boils so the stuff doesn't stick to the bottom. Once it starts to boil, give it another stir, turn the heat down to simmer, and cover. Set your timer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, give it another stir. That's looking good. Once it starts to look like this is when I add the rest of the almond milk. And give that a stir. And cover again. Set the timer for another 10 minutes. So far this is 20 minutes. Give it another stir. I'm going to try a little sample just to check for texture. Be careful, it's hot. Yeah, that's pretty good. This is about the right texture. It's kind of like a medium liquidy oatmeal. Kind of looks like oatmeal too. And the grains are fully cooked now. As it cools, it will become much thicker. Keep in mind that cooking times can vary based on whether you're substituting the ingredients for something else, or if you have a different stove type than a gas stove, and also the size of the burner on the stove that you're using. So now we're going to add the honey. Before I add the honey to my measuring cup, I add a little bit of coconut oil to the bottom and take that and rub that all around. Add the honey. You want 3/4 cup. Now if you notice, as I'm pouring this, the honey is nicely coming out of the measuring cup. Look at that. Look how nice that's coming out. See, it's almost all out. I like to add honey as one of the last things because honey has a certain amount of nutritional properties, and if you add it too soon, it'll diminish those properties. Stir that in. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I've always heard that if you add vanilla extract later in the cooking, the flavor is better. But I don't know, maybe you know about that? Leave a comment if you do. That's 1. And well, that's the end of my jar. It's not an exact science anyway, so that's okay. Mix that in. Remove from the burner and turn your stove off. So at this point, you can either serve it hot or you can let it cool and pop it in the refrigerator. So I kept it in the fridge overnight, pulling it out now. It does tend to make this cracking and a bit of a crust on the top, so I just mix that in. So this is the consistency now of really thick oatmeal. I didn't have time to really make breakfast, so I decided to have some millet pudding and a banana. So now we're headed off to the potluck. So I got this cooler bag, I got a couple ice blocks underneath, put that in there, and I did bring my sign. I'll show you what else I got in the bag. I got my wet rag in a bag, so I don't have to use any napkins. Then I've got the cloth napkins, and we're bringing our 2 plates, 2 spoons, our serving spoon, 2 forks, and my knife that I keep in a little sleeve here. We take our own wine glasses, we use them for beverages, they're nice and portable. This is our way of helping save the environment of disposable products. And away we go. Here we went to our friend's celebration of life ceremony. This is what's left over from 8 tables full of potluck offerings that fed over 100 people. These 2 tables were chock full of desserts. About half the millet pudding got eaten. It usually gets gobbled up, but there were so many desserts to choose from, so it was hard to pick from just one. Here's one happy person enjoying it.
Unbelievable. It has cardamom in it. It tastes like almost like a chai tea pudding. It's the best pudding here.
Be sure to subscribe, click a link, all that other sharing stuff, Facebook. Also check out our other videos. We have a bunch of gardening stuff and how-tos, and we have a lot more videos planned for the future. We also have a super funny video about groundhog that took residence in our backyard, and the end of the video is super funny, so check that out. I'll put a link to that. And thanks for watching. Enjoy your pudding.